We are in our way right now up north to see the Golan Heights, the Israeli-Syrian borders. All of you become aware right now that Israel is the only country that interfered to protect the minorities in Syria. The government that holding right now Syria is holding the people as a hostage. And we see the massacre that they committed in Suwayda against the Christians and against the Druze. More than 100 Druze was killed. More than 500 Christian girls was kidnapped. Churches was attacked. People was raped. Children was kidnapped. It's very important that we act now, and we're going right now to see some of the survivors. With me, Isaac Levitt, and he used to be a commander in the IDF in the northern border, and he's with us here right now in order to help us to see the reality and the situation on the ground. Tell me where we're going right now and what we're doing.
Okay, so we will have a tour. We will visit 3 spots. One is a village, a Druze village. At the end, we will visit the Golan Heights to have an overview of what's going on in the east side of the border in Syria. But the most important is that we will be visiting an hospital in the north of the country where dozens of Druzes that were tortured or were attacked and were injured in Suwayda are hospitalized. And I think one of the most cynical things that happened is that Israel is really doing its utmost in order to help our brothers. For us, the Druzes are our brothers, okay? It's not allies. It is really brother because they tied their faith with the Jewish people since 48. And we feel a strong commitment to help them, but not only because they're our brother, but also because we as Jewish people care about human beings.
I understand everything. I prefer to speak it.
Tell me more about the Druze. Tell me more about the culture and the tradition.
The majority of the Druze live in the Middle East, and they are dispersed in 4 states: Syria, Lebanon, Israel, and Jordan. First of all, our community and faith believe in one God. Therefore, we called Al-Muwahhidun. The real name of the Druze is Al-Muwahhidun, and this came from the name one, Wahid. We believe in one God, monotheistic religion.
You see today that in a city like Suwayda in Syria, you see there is a massacre, ethnic cleansing happening against the Druze. Now we hear about more than 500 Druze girls being kidnapped and sold.
These people who kidnapped these girls and women, I want to ask him, Majed, if your daughter or your sister is the same situation, what you do? Therefore, the first thing I would to approach to these people, give and come back. Give back these women to the families. And I hope that they are, until now, in life. I cannot go to sleep. I cannot sleep. I want to tell you. And always you ask me why you are tired. I am tired because the situation, I always think about these girls and women. And I am imagining that maybe this lady is my sister or my daughter. What you feel about it?
As a father, not just as a Druze, but as a father, when you hear the news about killing the young people in the streets, when you hear the news about kidnapping of the Druze girls and Christian girls and Halloween girls, and we know when they kidnap them, they rape them, and the world is completely just ignoring. As a father, when you hear the news like this happening to young girls, how do you feel?
I think that you also hear, as I hear, they want to destroy everything, to kill the man and the woman and the children, to take the houses, the land, everything. They don't come to fight against a military or a person with guns. No, they come to kill everyone. So with this behavior, you can't go on.
Christian minority, Druze,
Christian,
Alawis.
Alawi, Yazidi, everyone.
Are you disappointed from the international reaction?
Of course, 4 days we call all the world, come to save the Druze in Suwayda. All the world, 1 week, stand and look what ISS do in Suwayda. But what happened in Suwayda in the last month, we don't know. I think that we fall in between the chairs. Maybe governments went to use us for the entrance of these, maybe United States, maybe Turkey, maybe Arab Saudi. I don't understand what happened there. Because the Druze in Suwayda was very peaceful people.
When you see today United States dropping the sanctions on Syria unconditionally, when you see the EU, the European Union, dropping the sanctions on Syria, there's no conditions. And when the American president met him in Riyadh with the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, after receiving $5.5 billion and an aeroplane with $600 million, and he called him an attractive man. How do you feel when you see the world reacting to this way to Ahmad al-Shar?
I feel that they don't understand the situation. I can, the European, they have a lot of Syrians in their country, and they want to give them back as a present to the Syrian people. I can understand that, but I can't understand the behavior of the United States. They don't know exactly what they have in their hand. And I believe that if they give him a chance, they will see the truth.
If the West listening to you right now, what will be your message to the West?
My message to the West today, if you support the government in Syria, and if you support this ISIS leader who changed only the clothes, you are the responsible what happened today in Syria, all the West. The situation is more bad than 1 month when they attacked us. The question is, what is going to be? What is the solution? It's a big question, but I don't have the answer now.
We are here in the Israeli-Syrian borders. From the beginning of this year, we hear the reports over and over coming from Suwayda of killing the Druze, the Christians, kidnapping more than 500 Christian girls and Druze girls, selling them. This is ISIS, the nightmare of ISIS, repeating itself again. We saw the killing, the massacre. We saw the world silence. And here, behind me, the enemy is not far away from Israel. The very surprising part that Israel was the only country that moved on to protect the minorities. The Druze, they opened their doors, they took them to the hospitals, the one that been hurt and wounded. They even tried to build their own medical centers inside of Syria to help the minorities, not just the Druze, not just the Christians, but also the Muslims, the Badu, the Ashair, to help everybody. And yet none of this, you saw it in the media. None of this was covered. I sit down today with a commander in the IDF that took me in the border, and he said something to me I would never forget. I asked him, why do you still help people that you don't feel safe with them? Why you still help people that maybe they will turn against you? And he said, I know that they will turn against me. It's not a matter of if, but when. But we're still helping them. Where is this in the media? I understand the Gaza situation, but we have to be fair to show the world what's really happening in Israel. I went today to the hospital in Israel to see the wounded, and I saw children was hurt, and yet nobody's talking about it. This enemy behind me that you see, this is not just the enemy of Israel. This is the enemy of all humanity. When you are raping, killing, kidnapping with no mercy, I thank you for your support. I thank you for your prayers. Let's stand with the people of Syria. Let's stand with the minorities in Syria. Let's stand with Israel and its war. Let's protect the goodness against evil. Let's protect the light against the darkness. Let's protect me and you, my mom, your daughter, my son, my father, my sister. Let's protect our families in humanity. Thank you, and God bless.